Okay, here we are. We're back, Burlington on the Spot, with our weekly segment with Rick Mauch
Showtime
from Burlington Record. He's going to fill us in what's in the news, what's in the paper, and what's coming up.
Oh, Troy, we have been so busy, but a really, really good kind of busy. The website is doing fantastic. I got a letter to the editor the other day from a guy in Sanger, Texas.
Wow.
And I don't know if he was Googling a particular subject, and we popped up. I used to work in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, so it's possible he saw my name and then followed it from there. But either way, pretty dang cool to get a letter to the editor in Burlington from Sanger, Texas, for something he saw on our website.
That is cool.
I mentioned a couple of weeks ago we got one from a guy in Michigan who had seen something we posted about weed, marijuana. And he called, because as he called himself a marijuana expert. And I'm really, really proud of where the website is going. So check it out, www.burlington-record.com. We're constantly breaking news. We are, constantly updating stories. It's pretty cool.
And
Check
you guys
it
are
out.
doing a good job of posting it on Facebook.
We have a direct link to Facebook, so whatever we post automatically goes there as well.
Yeah.
And I'm just really excited about what we've done with the website and where we're going with the website. And I'm really excited about this week's paper. Here's the front page. Be honest
Show
with
it
you.
to the camera.
Be honest with you, it's a little bittersweet because Joyce Lytle is saying farewell after more than 4 decades at the paper, and Joyce has certainly earned her retirement. She has made so many people at the paper happy with her work and all of her talents, but she's also made many more people in Kit Carson County and Burlington and probably even in other parts of the state, because Joyce has been doing this a long time. She's a lot more than photographs. She does so much else at the paper, but the main thing that she has done to bring joy to people is through her pictures. She's a really talented photographer, and she's going to be missed.
Yeah.
But in our paper today, we do have a story that highlights her career, and then we have Joyce wrote a selfie story, a column, and both are really good.
I look forward to reading that. Yeah. One thing about Joyce is any event you go to around town, you just kind of look over and, oh, there's Joyce. I mean, sports,
well, and
all the cool stuff.
Photographers often become the face of a paper, especially a community paper.
Yeah.
I can't tell you how many times over the years we had a similar situation at a paper I worked at in Texas. A lady named Mary Vinson, still there, in fact. She's in her mid-60s. She told me one time she probably would pass away with a camera in her hand, right, which is what we thought might happen with Joyce. Thank goodness that didn't happen. She's going to enjoy her grandkids and such. But a photographer is often the face of community paper, and that was certainly the case with Joyce. And I've had, I can't tell you how many times I've had people call a newspaper, any of them that I've worked at, and wanted to know if we were going to have someone cover an event. And I would mention, yeah, we're going to have such and such writer there. And, well, are you going to have Mary there? Are you going to have Joyce there?
Right.
That's what they're worried about. They could care less who the writer is.
They want to know.
They want Joyce there. They want pictures, yes.
It's like, where's Waldo when you're trying to see? That's how every event was here. Yeah. With Joyce. She's going to be there.
And that was Joyce over the years.
Is somebody going to fill those shoes? Or how's that going to work?
Well, we can't announce anything just yet. We are working on
ready to break some news.
We're working on what the future might hold. But right now we are distributing her duties. None of us can fill her shoes, so what we're doing is we're just each of us walking a little bit in her footsteps until we figure out what the next step is. But I with all due respect to whomever we bring in, they're not going to be Joyce Lytle.
Right.
They might over 40 years become the next Joyce Lytle or the first of themselves. But they've got some big shoes to fill, whoever it is that comes in. So, and we're definitely going to miss Joyce. We had a big going away for her today, and we've got the latest on COVID on the front page. We are at 4.5% positivity as a
Nice.
county. That is the best we've been since the early days of the pandemic, so more than a year ago.
That's great.
And that is great. It shows you that people are behaving themselves, for lack of a better way of putting it.
Well, I think vaccinations have been high.
Well, I think that's part of behaving yourself. It's just people are doing the right thing.
Right.
We're looking out for each other, and that's really the main thing to beating a pandemic, is just not only being cautious of yourself, but being cautious of others, and probably even more so being cautious of others. So kudos to the county for having that standing. I'm very, very proud of that. We have an article in about the local irrigators looking at the water conservation options. A really good article submitted by Plains Groundwater Management District. Carrie Hunter, a 1990 Burlington High graduate. Burleson is a suburb of Fort Worth where I used to live. So, and I was actually talking to another general manager in our chain who used to work in Burleson. So he and
Burleson's on the mind.
Yeah, sometimes that will slip out. So with all due respect, I love you, Burlington, and I've been to Burleson many times, and trust me, they got nothing on Burlington. Nice town, but got nothing on Burlington. But Carrie is a 1990 Burlington High graduate, and she is the sole finalist to become the next Colorado State Auditor.
Wow.
So, as always, lots of good news on the front page. Lots of good news even inside. We don't just put all the great news out front. Don James, we were talking about, COVID and the health department and such. Don James has been named the Morgan Community College Burlington Campus All-Star Alumnus.
Okay.
Johnson & Johnson is the vaccines coming to the area. Rotary is looking for names for its Service Above Self Award.
Very cool.
We've got the Young Citizens, which I tell you, that has become a really popular thing.
People love that.
It's just something that at the beginning of school, we were trying to think of some ideas that we can incorporate students and more. I mean, I love kids. Much of my career has been working with kids. I covered high school sports for a long time. I worked in a children's home for a few years doing PR. So, and let's not kid ourselves. Grandparents and moms and dads buy papers when their kids' pictures are in there. So,
oh yeah.
But we have Young Citizens, and that's a very popular part in sports. Our own Isaac Manti, senior wrestler, was named honorable mention All-State.
Very cool.
We've got volleyball results, of course. Boy, Stratton Liberty, have you kept up with?
I haven't. How are they doing?
They're ranked number 5 in the state. They went to Lyman, which was ranked number 2 in Class 2A, and beat them in 4 games.
Nice.
And right now, Stratton Liberty's sitting at 6-0, and they've got a little test this weekend. They're playing McClave, which is ranked number 11 in Class A, but 1A. But they've got a really good chance to make a run at the state tournament, or the state Final Four, I guess you could call it.
Wow, we'll have to keep an eye on that. Congrats to them.
Something that we are starting, it's an announcement in the paper here. If you know anyone from here or any of the schools we cover who is now playing sports in college, let us know, because I used to do this back in Texas. It was extremely popular. It's called an alumni watch. So let us know who the student is, where they're going to college, and when they graduated, and what sport. And then we'll contact the school. We'll get their stats. We'll get interviews with them and things like that. But just, John Johnson graduated Burlington in 2018, and he's playing at BYU, and he's their starting center on the football team.
And then just highlight them, and
go from
that's
there.
great.
Yeah.
That's a good idea.
Anything from lacrosse to football. And then, of course, we got some recipes for some really delicious summer drinks. Great photo page, by the way, this week. Courtney took it, and really, really, really nice photo page. Quick glance at next week. Of course, we have the usual Colorado preps. We've started including bowling, the Century Lanes bowling standings each week now.
Really?
Yeah, why not? I mean,
Are they having leagues going on right now? Or?
They are, yeah.
Huh.
The usual stuff, offerings of hope. I have a column going in. I guess this is kind of breaking. I don't want to give too much away, but I read Raul Hudler's recent. You're on City Council. You were there. The last City Council meeting,
right.
Raul gave a report about how some cities are paying people to come live there.
Right, enticement.
And one of the draws of a lot of places is the ability to work from home. Mm-hmm. And as someone who worked from home previously back in Texas, I can tell you I loved the quiet area. And I'm not going to say any more other than that, Burlington's a great place.
It is a good place.
If we need to pay people a little bit of money to come here and live and learn it for themselves, that's going to turn out to be better for us, because if we pay, I don't know, just picking a number, let's say we pay $5,000 for somebody to help get into a home. Well, if that person then turns around and spends a few $100,000 because they live here a few years, I think we've done a pretty good thing.
Yeah, and housing is probably the biggest issue we have right now.
So and there's a lot to offer in Burlington.
Yeah.
I think Burlington could be a diamond on the plains,
I
so
agree.
to speak. Could we use a couple more grocery stores? Of course. Could we use a department store? Sure. But with people will come those things. And I don't want anyone to take this as a knock on Burlington. It's not a knock on Burlington. The whole reason I'm proposing this is Burlington is great. Just need to make other people who don't currently live here aware of that.
I agree.
And that's what Raul was saying. And so, anyway, that's basically the column for next week.
Okay.
So, and let's not forget that this is Child Abuse Awareness Month.
Right.
And we've got a little article from Prairie Family Center reminding us of that. In fact, it's already on our website. So, and then, of course, Dr. Hoppy. There's a dedication to him, which I think happened today, actually. Joyce was covering that. So lots of good stuff in the Burlington Record.
There was one other thing, too, right? It was the district attorney. Or no, I'm sorry, the attorney general. That's what I meant.
Glad you mentioned that, yes. The attorney general is coming to town Monday to talk about the opioid crisis, as they call it here. Honestly, I've lived here since last July, so how long this has been going on, I don't know. I can't tell you. It's one of the things that I'm still learning, but I have heard that as great as Burlington is, that is a little bit of a challenge that we're facing.
Well, I think it's a challenge that everyone's facing.
Well, I think so too.
All over the country.
Yeah,
and rural areas really get thrust into that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not ready to put us on the same plane as like West Virginia or anything like that.
Right.
But it is something that, it is something that kind of does slap you in the face and remind you that, hey, yeah, you got a great town, but guess what? Like any town, you got challenges, and this is a challenge. So looking forward to him coming down. The public is welcome. It's at the community center from 10:30 to 11:30. Then after he speaks, I assume after, could be before, but I think it's after, I'm going to get a few minutes to sit down with him and ask him some specific questions. And by the way, if you're watching this and you have a specific question that you want me to ask him, feel free to email me at the paper, rmock@prairiemountainmedia.com, or call the paper and just say, hey, while you're in there, ask him this. Let's keep it related to the topic. Yeah, I'd be glad to, if you have a specific question that you're interested in me bringing up with him, I'd be glad to do that.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
And then we're gonna start sitting down weekly. I think we pretty much agreed on that on
Troy,
Wednesdays.
I thank you so much for doing this. It's a really great way to get our word out about what we're doing in the record.
Absolutely.
And,
next Wednesday we'll sit down and talk about this stuff, and maybe you'll have more breaking news.
Well, every day brings something new. And
it really does.
And again, I come back to the website with that. We come out once a week, and we have tons of news in our paper, and sometimes it's similar to what's on the website, but it's always going to be a little bit different. There might be somebody quoted in the paper that wasn't quoted on the website story, or some little twist that popped up between the time we put the story on the website and what have you. I do one quick thing before we go. I want to tell the moms and grandmas and granddads and parents, we are going to have all-state basketball players next week. It's already on our website.
Okay.
So, that'll be in our sports section as well. So check out our website, buy our paper, and you'll be happy reading it. We'll be happy that you bought it. So,
sounds good to me, and we'll see you next week.
Sounds good, my friend.
Take care, everybody.
All right.